Good morning, everybody. Time for some more tactics today. Uh, Gonna try to do about 10 problems. I may not even count, but hopefully I'm not gonna miss anything super obvious like I have been the last few times I've been doing this. So here we're playing white. We have what do we have here? We have even material, except white's up a pawn. We have the king already restricted to um, no escape squares. So the best way to deliver check here is not knight f4, which can be taken by the pawn. So knight f4 and then g takes f4. Doesn't look like it leads to anything. Okay, how about playing just g4? g4, rook takes. g4, then rook takes pawn, king. No, you can't take the pawn. g4, rook takes pawn. I don't see how that works either. Ouch. So what is it then? g4, rook takes pawn, right? Okay, how about g4, rook takes pawn, rook takes h6? Does that do anything? It allows me to play king takes g4 next move. But that's just a fancy swap. So, whew, stuck. Let's see. What about h takes g5? I mean, is that going to do a thing? H takes g5, king takes g5. Doesn't seem to help. Starting out with rook takes h6 doesn't seem to help. So again, at knight f4, knight f4, g takes f4, rook d5, king g6, and the king escapes, right? So try again. Knight f4, g takes f4. Aha, because it blocks. g4 would be the next move, should be mate. Knight f4, g takes f4, and then g4. Now he takes that, so then I just take the pawn. Wait a minute. Yeah, just take the pawn. Or, I'm sorry, just take the rook with the pawn. And it wins the exchange. Okay, got it. So the trick was making the pawn interpose on f4. Okay, so rating up 2.8 points. Problem number 2. Alright, for white, what are we doing? We've got weak dark squares around the black king. We have a rook on the 7th rank. We have an undefended rook on e8. Undefended, does that matter? I don't know if it matters or not yet. Let's look at maybe trapping the queen with bishop a7 jumps out. In fact, I'm going to tentatively say that's probably the answer. It looks like bishop a7 traps the queen. So variation bishop a7, queen, oh no it doesn't, queen a8. Bishop a7, queen a8. But what it does do is loses the b5 rook because the queen has to move away. So it looks like bishop a7, queen a8, queen takes d5. Queen takes a7, and we're up the exchange. Alright, let's try it. Wow, I'm surprised that that's the move it chose. I mean, we just take the queen here with the rook, right? Well, not for free. Okay, so we win that problem. Rating up 2.5 points over 1560. Problem number 3. Problem number 3. What do we have? We have, well, we have an undefended rook on c7. We have an no, we have an undefended queen. Does that matter? The king's exposed. So that's going to be the first thing I look at, I think. The king exposed and the undefended rook. Be nice to be able to fork them on f4 or something, but I don't see how that's easy or even really remotely possible. And we draw, well, can we draw a defender away from the f6 square? So rook takes d8, queen f6, check, mate, right? Yeah, so basically the knight on d8 is hanging. So rook takes d8, and if he takes rook takes d8, then queen f6 will be checkmate. Alright, let's play rook takes d8. Okay, good. 3 down. That was 1.2 points worth of rating up. Here comes problem number 4. Alright, we're in check, so we're going to have to defend that somehow. It looks like we can easily take, well, if we take on e1 with the queen, then we have queen takes f2 to deal with, or even rook takes f2 to deal with. If we block with bishop f1, queen takes queen, rook takes rook. Alright, well, let's think this. If queen takes rook on e1, then queen takes f2, and rook h1 or 2 should be safe. So this is probably an unsound sacrifice, is what I'm thinking. How about queen takes e1, rook takes f2? Will there be a way to defend that bishop? Am I sunk completely if I do that? That's what it looks like to me, man. It looks like queen takes e1, rook takes f2 is much worse. But, man, just taking the rook, that just takes the rook, right? Okay, I'm going to say play queen e1. Oh, well, I should probably pay attention to the fact that it abandons my rook. Okay, now what? I'm going to have to find the correct continuation here. Would it be maybe rook d5? Can't be. Rook d5. Well, I mean, it might be, because I'm defending f2. I think it's rook d5. I'm going to play rook d5. Good. He's still holding on for dear life to that attack on f2, which is just easily defended. Alright, so immediately what I think of is rook takes d6, queen takes, and then queen e8. Queen e8 was a tactic I saw a long time ago, just the knight was in the way. So I had the opportunity to remove the knight, and the tactic worked right away. Alright, so 4 points for that one. Was that problem number 4? Here's problem number 5. Playing as white here, we have queen f6. King can take the knight, which is the only move. So queen f6 check, king takes knight, rook h4 checkmate. Yeah, I mean that looks really straightforward to me. Am I missing an in-between move or an interposing move somehow? Let's look real close. Queen f6 check. These two squares are off limits, and oh no, I am the rook. Da 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 da. So there's my brain failure for this time. So how about, knight f5. Knight f5 forking. Let's go ahead and play that. I'm sure that's it. Knight f5. Good. No mates here, right? What about knight e7 instead of knight takes queen? Knight e7 check. Yeah, I can't get into here or here easily with the queen. So I'm going to go ahead and take the queen. All right, good. 5.3, but boy, look at how hard that problem was. I wonder if I'm not the only one that missed that rook on a6. That problem was almost an 1800 problem, 1770. Okay, so 5 problems down, and I gained 5.3 rating points for that one. Here it comes, problem number 6. Problem number 6. We're playing as black, and we have a swap of knights possible by just taking knight b1 and then knight takes d4. More than likely, though, with that king position and in the open, there's got to be some mating tactic going. So the most obvious thing is queen e2. Queen e2 makes the king go to one of the 4 back squares. Queen e2 means king g1, h1, or h3. I should say 3 back squares, sorry. I would think h3 would be off limits. So queen e2, king h3, queen g4, and then can't the knight come in? Well, back to g2, might not be able to. Huh. Let's look at swapping here and see if there's any in-between move afterwards. So queen b1, queen takes d4. Is there anything in between, like maybe b2? Not in between, but you know what I'm saying. Does b2 just win from there? Well, it might. It really might. Does b2 win right now? b2, queen takes d4. I don't know, man. I don't know. Queen takes b1, queen takes d4, b2. How does he stop me from playing queen c2 check next move and queening? Can he check me? No. I'm going to say that's the answer. It's b2 after swapping. Ah! Well, it was queen e2, which looked obvious. Queen e2, king h1, queen f1 check. By the way, I lost 5 stupid rating points for this, and it was a 1300 problem. Good gravy. Just a bunch of people moving queen e2 without looking over there, I think. I don't know, maybe. Queen f1 check. What? Oh, f1, not g1. Queen f1 check, king h2, knight f3. All right. That was problem 5. Here comes problem number 6. I hope that's right. Current rating 1566.3, by the way. All right, black. Black. Bishop's undefended. Well, no, it's not because of the rook. The queen's undefended. Does that matter in any way? The rook on a1 is... no, it's not hanging because of the bishop. Man, so what's going on in this position? I can't figure it out. Queen e3... Oh, okay, yeah, that's it. Queen e3. The only move is to interpose the queen, and then rook h3 wins the queen. Yep, let's do that. That looks pretty easy. Okay, good. So an easy problem, up 1.1 points, and problem 7 coming up. All right, for white, we are... What are we doing? it's going to be, you know, most likely in these positions, if the king is exposed like this, there's all that air around the king, and there's the pieces, the white pieces in the area, then the first thing you look for is an attack on the king, of course. Doesn't make much sense to look for ways to trap the queen in this position, in other words. However, it does make some sense to look for some ways that you can have a discovered attack on the undefended d4 queen at the end of all this. So if there was some way you could get the king to e8, then something like bishop b5 could win the queen. You don't want to throw away all the material on the board just to do that, but it does kind of look like that. Well, no. So say queen f4 hangs the knight. So what then? Rook c7 hangs the knight as well, but is that okay? So let's go rook c7, king takes g6, and how do I proceed with the king on g6 and my rook here? I'm going to have both of my rooks kind of hanging. Well, yeah, I would have both of my rooks hanging at that point. But would there be a way to bring the queen in? It doesn't look like it. And there's no way to follow the king up the board. So it doesn't look like rook c7 works to me. How about queen f4 first? Queen f4, king takes g6. No, queen f4, king takes g6. Does queen h6 do anything? Probably. Or how about rook h6? Yeah, here we go. Gotta be it. Okay, so here's my line. Queen f4, king takes g6, rook h6. This row's cut off, this file's cut off, that diagonal's cut off, the rook blocks. Okay, that's one thing. Now, queen f4, king or queen f6 blocks. There we can play, or can we? Yeah, rook c7, and then if king takes knight, then we have rook h6. So let's go here. Good. Rook c7. And now we have rook h6 checkmate. Good. So that was problem 7, I think. Problem 8 coming up. That problem was worth 2.7 points. Back over 1570. 1570 seems to be kind of my ceiling. I can't get a whole lot above 1570 without getting knocked down a few pegs. So 8, 9, and 10 problems are going to be critical to my progress here. I've got to take my time and get it right. Get it right. All right, I immediately look at queen to b1. Queen b1, and we have two squares available to the king, g2 and h2. If h2, I don't think I can follow up with a check. If g2, I can follow up with queen f1. Or I can just start with queen f1, can't I? So it's a waste of time. Queen f1, king h2, and the king is safe from checks. All right. Queen b1, king h2, rook f1. Is there any point to that? All right, well, let's look at queen g5. Nope, can't look at queen g5. Gracious. I don't see a clear continuation here for either of those starts. What? No, I was going to say, what? You don't want to do that. Looking at crazy things that don't work now, so that's probably bad. Goodness. So what? Okay, let's look at some features here. Everything's defended. Some pawns are not defended, but I don't think a pawn is going to be, other than just defending a key square, I don't think a pawn is going to play a key role in this problem. Let's use my best visualization here. Let's look at queen b1. Even on queen b1, rook e1 can interpose. And, I don't think there's anything like rook f1 to jump in the middle, because there you just have king takes f1. So to me, queen b1 isn't doing anything. It looks like it might have to be a quieter, non-forcing move to start. The forcing moves don't work. Look at rook g5, queen takes g5. There's just no way to proceed other than triple up your pawns. Other forcing moves. Like queen f1. I mean, queen f1 seems most likely to do something. It just does. Queen f1, king h2, and again, I don't know how to proceed. Can I do? Maybe I can do. Queen f1, king h2, rook f2, rook takes. Yeah, it just doesn't work. It's defended twice. The square is defended twice by him and once by me, so it just doesn't work. I thought maybe moving the king away, but no. I just didn't recount. So what do we do? What do we do? How do we do this? Some way of drawing the queen away, and I don't see it. No pawns are going to be doing that. So it's got to be a... Well, here's what makes me think it's a quiet move that's going to solve this, is because the king is kind of immune to checks other than desperado checks. So, it's going to be a quiet move. It's going to be something like queen h5, something like that. So queen h5, is there an immediate threat? You see, not really. I mean, it's the same stuff. So where does black want to get the queen? Maybe h4? I don't see that happening either. Whew. I'm coming up on what I would call my time limit for this problem, about 5 minutes. So, man, that's going to be a bummer to get above 1570 and then miss something. I'm sure it's going to be something obvious to be a 1200 rated problem. We'll look quickly at queen b1 again. Queen b1 check, rook e1. No way to proceed. Alright, I'm moving queen f1 just because 5 minutes are up. Okay, so lucky there. But the problem that I don't know what to do now hasn't gone away. I just get a clearer look at it. I don't have to imagine it anymore. So rook f2 doesn't help. Rook f2, rook takes f2, and what? Just sunk. What about rook f3? It's got to be rook f3. That's a tough move to see from the first position. From here, it's a little easier to see it. Alright, so we solved that one. Little asterisk by it because I had no idea what I was doing when I moved queen f1. But queen f1, just screamed out to be played in that position. You just don't know how to proceed. Or I didn't know how to proceed. Alright, so way too long on that problem, but here comes problem 9. Okay, surely this is going to be easier, right? What we have here is a very restricted king. Can only move to 2 squares. Theoretically, easy to cut off those 2 squares with one shot. What does g takes h5 do? It attacks the rook. The rook... Yeah, the rook has really 2 squares to move to there. g6 and h6. What about something like rook e8 or queen f8? Part of the problem here is it's not easy to get to the king. So what about trying to trap the queen? Yeah, the queen's trapped. Rook e1 should win the queen. So let's look at rook e1. Queen can't go to any back row. It can't go here because it's just king takes here because queen takes. So rook e1 is going to win the queen. Let's just do that. Good. All right. That was problem 9. We got 2.5 points for that. And problem 10. Let's do this thing. All right, here we go. We're playing black. Obvious recapture on f5. But if I do that, does the knight check on d6 scare me? Or on d4? Yes. Okay, I see. More than likely, this problem is going to be bishop takes b5 to eliminate the forking on d4. So in other words, if I go king takes f5, then white moves the knight away and moves it to d4, which is check, and wins the bishop on c6 next move. So in order to preserve the material advantage we have here, black needs to play bishop takes b5. Very good, and then we recapture. And I've solved, what, 9 out of 10? I think I solved 9 out of 10. A couple with asterisks, obviously, but my rating went up considerably here. We end at 1577.6. I'm not sure what my high rating is, but let's go look. In fact, while I'm on camera here, let's go My Stats, Tactics Stats, and this will bring up some graphs. The first graph is going to be my Blitz rating, which is really steady. The second one is my standard rating graph. Let's zoom in on how I've been doing since I've been doing the videos, which I think is about right there. And then I'll look at the, well, I can't do both, can I? Let's get rid of that. Let's slide this over here so you can look at my standard rating graph, which will be about right here, right? Yeah. Looks like my peak rating, probably right here, was, what, 15, that says 1557. No, I'm at my highest rating right now, because this is all higher than that. So I'm at 15, well, that says 1566. I know I'm at 1577. Maybe it just hasn't updated yet. Anyway, look at the most recent videos and those kinds of things. This is how things have been going recently. Yeah, 1577.6 is where that peaks at, which is my current rating. So this is how my rating has looked. My videos, I think the last few I did were here and here, and then today's video, I think it was here. Some of these, this here was a little bit of a tilt thing where man, I made a mouse slip in one of them. Meant to move my queen one square further than I did, and I accidentally dropped it and failed a problem, and then kind of tilted from that. So, you know, chess tactics apparently have some tilt possibility in, but these little peaks are getting a little higher each time. 1572, 1575, 1577. So, man, I might break 1600 before too long. Anyway, that's all for today. So, or not, maybe more later today, but that's all for now. So, hope you enjoyed it. Guys, take care.